This episode, The Traveling Handyman. So, folks, by the time you hear this show, Larry is on an airplane headed to Alaska. This is what the gig is. We thought we might give you some insight into opportunities for you to travel and work as a handyman or contractor. Welcome to the Handyman Pros Radio Show, home improvement and maintenance tips from the pros. Thanks for listening to another edition of the Handyman Pros Radio Show, where our goal is to help save you time, money, and aggravation on your home maintenance and repair. This edition is entitled The Traveling Handyman. And to help me explain, I'm here with my cheerful co-host and old buddy, Johnny. Johnny, tell me a story. What's been going on in your world this week?
I don't know, man, but it sounds like you've been talking to your travel agent.
Yeah. Well, we've announced that this is coming, and guess what? It's here.
It's here.
All right. Before we get started, please like and subscribe our show. Please tell us if you know the drill. Hit your likes and subscribes on both YouTube and or on your podcast player of choice. We really appreciate it. It helps get the word out. Johnny, take it away, baby. You got some questions. I know you do.
Well, folks, the handyman gang out there, that Larry is headed off to Alaska. And he's going to have an extended stay up there.
And
he's not going to be in prison either. So, so we'll wait for him to get back. It's not like he's, doing any hard time up there or whatever.
Well, actually, John, don't we have some great shows? We're going to do a whole series of we're going to do some Welcome to Alaska.
We are going to do some really interesting things, folks. So you got to stick with us now. You got to stick with us, and we're going to be doing a lot of ad lib stuff. But we're gonna have some good fun stuff. Now, Larry is going to go to Alaska. I guess you couldn't find a gig in the town that's adjacent to us, so Larry's in so much demand. He found a gig in Alaska. So Larry, tell us, when we discuss, how did you ever find this gig? What's this all about?
So this is folks, I just turned 61, and I'm kind of like thinking about a lot. And John, you understand this, when you get to be, I'm going to say older, we're not old, right?
Okay. No, you keep telling your story here about Alaska.
So here's the deal, folks. I want to get out and do some things before I can't move anymore, like literally physically can't move anymore. And we went to Alaska last summer. We stayed at this lodge, and it was outstanding. And me being me, there I am. It's, dark 30, because of course there's a 4-hour time difference, 4 or 5. I can't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's 4 or 5 hour time difference. And I'm up at the, very early in the morning, and I go down and I'm talking, and the owner happened to be up, and it happens to be, the owner's wife, it's a husband and wife that own the lodge. So anyway, I'm talking to the wife, and we just got talking about, this and that. We had gone fishing the day before. And so I was like, asking her, I wanted to go fishing that day. I had a guide the day before. I said, is there another guide available for today? She said, no, we've been trying to find somebody to do this. And I had personally been looking for, I call it summer camp for adults. I've been looking for a summer camp for adults activity for quite a number of years. Ever since we bought our camper, I have been kind of looking at being an RV host and being a camper host, but I want to go to someplace cool, right? Because
most kids want to be like a fireman or an astronaut when they grow up, but you want to be an RV host. Okay.
Well, I was, yeah. Well, it's something to do where you get to go to a beautiful place and you get to stay, and they cover some of the costs, right? And it's not that we need the money or anything, but if I'm going to go, I need something to do. This is one thing, John, in retirement, we both do handyman work because we need something to do. And so anyway, I was talking to her, and I'm like, oh, well, I've been a guide before. And she goes, really? And she goes, what have you done? And it's a long story, but I guided many, many years ago when I was a early 20s, basically did some guiding in Canada, blah, 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 bears, moose, the whole deal.
Yeah. It wasn't helping people across the street.
No, it was not that kind of, yeah. And it was people that could see. It wasn't, I wasn't like a dog guiding the blind. It wasn't anything like that. But it was actually canoe guiding. And with that, we did a lot. I did a lot of fishing. And so I've been fishing my whole life. So I said, well, yeah, that's kind of interesting. I said, I wonder if I could help you out. And she laid out this program about what she wanted to do. And I was like, oh, that sounds really, really interesting. I said, and then she throws out this one statement to me. She says, well, the problem is I probably wouldn't have enough business to hire somebody full time. And they have a very large lodge. It's a wood structure. It's beautiful. It's the Gustavus Bear Track Inn. So it's this beautiful facility. And so, me being me, I said, well, what if I came and did handyman service too? And she literally looked at me and goes, you're hired. It's that simple. And I was like, oh, so I'm bringing multiple skill sets, right? So long story short, that's how I got the job in Alaska. Come to find out, there's a lot of these opportunities available for these lodges in Alaska. Almost all of them, not necessarily the fishing guiding part, but they all need handymen. Trust me, they all need handymen. Because like everywhere, handymen and contractors are hard to come by, right? And you know that, John. And she's like, her next big thing was, I also told her I had a CDL, and she's like, oh my God, everybody in town's going to try to hire
And
you away.
And a CDL for everybody is
a commercial driver's license. So I can drive up to 60,000 pound class 8 tractor, or not tractor trailer, but I can drive a dump truck or things like that, big trucks. Anyway, that's not the crux of the thing. The crux is that I found this very cool job where I'm actually going to go and get paid to go up to Alaska and spend 3 months in Alaska and develop this fishing program. And this could become multiple years. We might be doing this, through multiple years. A lot of this came about in the fact that I've been sort of looking for something that I can go do that's different, right? And this is where we had looked at being an RV host, and we still might do RV hosting. We might do, because folks, if you don't know this, there's RV hosts that clean toilets and do that kind of stuff, but there's also maintenance hosts. So if you're a maintenance host, guess what you do? You just do maintenance. Like, I'm okay with that one. I wasn't really excited about doing the RV host thing where you're, cleaning toilets and this and that. But you get to
Oh, you weren't?
no, no, not really, right?
Right.
But you work like 20 hours a week, and you get to go, you can go, there's all kinds of websites, and I won't get into it, but if you want more, send us an email, questions at Handyman Pros Radio Show, and I'll kind of go over some of the places. But like, all the national parks are looking for people. All the state parks are looking for people. And they basically give you a free place to stay at a campground, and you just work doing whatever. You can work at the gift shop in a national park. Like when we were at the Grand Canyon, we were talking to the people in the gift shop, and they go there for the 4 months of the summer season, and they are literally overlooking the Grand Canyon while they work 20 hours a week at the gift shop. And then they get the run of the park the rest of the time. Yellowstone, same way. And Yellowstone I was like, wow, I'd go to Yellowstone, because there's a lot to Yellowstone. Anyway, there's all these opportunities available, and they're out there, and they kind of live in their own little sub world. They're publicized, but they're not really publicized. And so you kind of have to ask some people that do these things, is there any opportunities available? And then it's just pick and choose. I talked to the people on one of the cruise ships at one time, like, what's it take to be on this cruise ship? What do you need to be on the cruise ship? I was kind of like, and it didn't really appeal to me, because you're stuck on 60 feet and blah, blah, blah. That one didn't appeal to me so much. In the contracting world, Johnny, are there any contractors that work in multiple locations?
Oh, all the time, all the time. I'll tell you, I've run into guys when I used to travel a lot for business. When I was in sales, I used to run into guys all the time that were going from job to job.
Yeah, kind of gypsy like. But when you say go to job, what was their time frame on each job?
A lot of them were employed by a company, but they had all their stuff with them. They'd be sent out to different locations to do things. Other people were I wouldn't say gypsy type of thing, but they had opportunities based upon their background that was very specific, that people would hire them in these locations because they had the need for that skill set. And I used to run into them all the time in the airport. I used to talk to them all the time, because you could tell who. I mean, I could always tell who they were. I was always in a suit, and they were, they always had their stuff on, and I knew who they. So I used to talk to them a lot.
there's like,
For instance, I'll tell you, there was a contractor. Okay, I think he worked for basically for himself, where they had a small company. This guy was like a fearless. He was on top of these buildings in New York, taking apart those climbing cranes at the
oh,
very top, 1,100 feet up, crawling out at the ends of these things, and he loved it. And you know, I was like, okay. He's showing me all the pictures, and I'm like, he goes, yeah, there's not a whole lot of people that do what I do. And I'm like, yeah, probably getting less and less.
day by day.
He goes, yeah,
Whoa!
the iron workers wouldn't even go out where I was at. So, anyways,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
but there is a lot of that activity.
But there's yeah, and it's even just didn't the drywall doctor, didn't he tell us that he went out and did
Yes,
was it the
yes,
Denver airport? Yeah, he did that great big job, and he
out
was
in
out there living
Arizona.
out there. Yeah, and he was living out there
Yeah,
for what, 3, 4 months or
yeah,
something doing this drywall job. So don't think it's limited to these highly specialized
no.
jobs. There's lots of need for other people, welders and all. They're really common for
Oh,
being
they're
on the
man, those
road,
guys will go.
all
Yeah.
the time.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
constantly on the road. But gosh, a good carpenter, a good framer, a good handyman with lots of experience that has a big skill set, just like any of us, if you have a decent skill set, you're in demand pretty much anywhere you want to go.
Yeah.
You
Well, you're
can,
describing it right now.
yeah. I
I
mean,
mean, you're
I'll be, so let me tell you what I'm doing this summer. I'll just tell you, because I already know. Number one, I'm building a 12 by 24-foot building to put a sauna in, which is pretty appropriate considering I just built my own 12 by 24 shed. It's basically the same building, only it's going to be set up one half with a sauna and the rest of it is going to be more kind of like public storage space. So that's one of my jobs that I'm actually doing, along with general maintenance on the facility. We might be building some crew quarters. Also, maybe it's a possibility. It all depends on how the workflow goes. But then I'll be maintaining the main lodge as well, and it's everything and anything. It's plumbing, it's light plumbing, light electrical. It's landscape and maintenance. I'll be driving a van if I have to, just to go pick people up from the airport and stuff like that.
stray bear removal.
Believe it or not, safety is an issue
What?
always. It's more the moose than it is the bear at the
Okay.
particularly
Well,
at the lodge, but
stray moose.
yeah,
Stray
hitting
moose
the horn.
removal.
Yeah, you gotta get them out of there, they're a big animal. So yeah, so that kind of thing. But I guess the purpose of this show is just to kind of open your minds up to the fact that if you have these skill sets, there are opportunities out there for you to go do some kind of cool stuff. I mean, to me, this is a very cool, really interesting job. I get to stay at this fantastic place and it's Alaska, folks. If you've never been there, there's only one word I use to describe it: big. It's big. Everything is like, you think mountains are big, go to Alaska. You think a glacier is big, go to Alaska. It's big.
Yeah.
It's big.
Well,
Big.
tell them what, we're going to have some shows. We'll have some, if we can have some live events with Larry as he's walking and talking, maybe, which would be great to see what's actually going on up there.
Yeah, we're kind of, our ideas are, we're still gonna do the Handyman Pros radio show. We're gonna do, tips and
Yep.
tricks. We'll probably go over a lot of the build that we're doing, especially the sauna build, just because
Yeah.
it's right
Love it.
on target,
Love it.
right? But we'll also do, I'm thinking if they're willing, we'll talk to the owners of the lodge. Again, it's if they're willing. We'll probably do a little quick tour of Gustavus. That'll take 3.5 minutes, because there's not that much there. Folks, to give you perspectives, we're on an island about 40 miles west of Juneau, Alaska. So we're sitting out in the Pacific Ocean. The only way to get there is by air or by boat. And
Don't you know?
so, go ahead.
Don't you know?
Don't you know? Yeah, don't you know? They have a nice airstrip that was built by the United States during World War II, because it was a refueling stop for airplanes going to Asia. And then they have their own power plant and things on the island. I might actually try to get up and get a quick picture of that. It's hydroelectric completely, but they've got a little dam, a little generator, and it powers the whole island. And We'll go over some of the other really interesting things about living on an island, because there's some really, really interesting things that we're going to be working on to negate cost of living on an island. For example, everything has to come on the island. So every single thing that you have comes to you, and conversely, you have to take things off the island too. So I'm not going to.
So that was another point, and we can go into this at when you get up there. Is the logistics of everything, which should be pretty fascinating.
I have been working on the logistics for this build since August of last year, and it takes forever to get things. So we'll get into all of that, in future shows and things like that. Again, this show is just to kind of give you an idea of the fact of, if you're tired of where you are and you just want to do something different, there's lots of things to do. There's lots and lots and lots of different things to do. Get a little creative, do some searches. You probably could type into AI and come up with, how can I work out on the road? And you'll probably get 72 different ideas. But just lots of different ways.
Use websites, right? Like
you can use websites. Like we're going to talk to, I think it's an upcoming show. We have a website developer. It's a job board site, but also has another org site. It's skilledtrades.com is the job board site, and skilledtrades.org is the other site. And we're going to have a conversation with them. I think it's going to be our next show, where they talk about all these kinds of things, about job postings and about what it takes to do the trades and this and that and several different things. But you can find jobs out there on job postings sites.
And traveling trades is a big thing too.
Traveling trades is it's a big thing, and it's a real thing. Some of these big contracted jobs, they're anywhere from 2 weeks to 6 months or more, sometimes, depending on how big it is. But you go and you live there, and you do the job. And when it's in a cool place, it's really interesting. So I don't know what else to say. Do you have any questions, Johnny? I mean, is there anything? Ask, man, ask.
Hey, I'm sure there's a ton of questions I could probably come up with, but we covered quite a bit here. Just going back to, you want to do all this stuff while you're, before you get too old, and so just don't get eaten by a bear, because that will negate everything that you're striving for.
Just do a special show on me, Johnny.
I'm just saying,
just a special show. I want an in memoriam for Larry and a burp at the end.
Yeah, right. Right.
Well, hopefully that's not going to happen. But yeah, being bear aware is certainly one of the,
hey, when in Rome.
When in Rome. When in Rome. All right,
well,
Johnny,
folks, it's going to be with that. I'll end it. I'll let you end the show, Larry. But I'll tell you, folks, it's going to be an interesting. Now, Larry, how long are you gonna be in Alaska?
About 3 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
About 3 months. So
in a town of how big?
467 as of the last count.
You're going to know every one of them. Well.
It's a funny thing. Last year so I grew up in a small town, right? So last year we are driving down the road, and I noticed the driver, he waves at everybody that goes by.
Sure.
And I said to him, I go, wow, I said, that really takes me back to growing up in a small town. I said, you waved at everybody. And he goes, oh yeah. He said, if you don't wave at everybody, they think you're mad at them, and it's a bad thing.
Oh yeah.
It's a bad thing. And I was like, yeah, that sounds familiar. I remember all,
so folks, follow us you got to follow us for the next 3 months. We're going to have some really interesting things come up. Larry and I have been talking about all this offline. But it should be a great should be some great shows coming up, and I think you're all going to be very interested in these shows.
If nothing else, folks, you're going to have some great pictures of of the wildlife and of being out in Alaska in the basically the I call it the expanse. It's immense, and you're going to have I'm going to get tons of pictures and hopefully some good video, and we should be able to get some really, really, really good stuff going on. As far as that goes, it's just it's just beyond beautiful. It's just beyond beautiful. I don't know how else to say it. So,
perfect.
Johnny. Perfect. Do you think I'll see a spaceship up there?
Oh, I'm sure plenty of them.
Yeah,
I'm sure plenty of them.
You know what I really want to see, Johnny?
When they roll out, when they turn the lights out at about 9 o'clock at night.
You know what I really want to see, Johnny? I want to see Squatch. I'm telling you, I want to see Squatch. I think.
Yeah, Sasquatch. Well, yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of those up there.
I'm not sure.
They dress up as bears. So just be be careful. So anyways, folks, when you follow us for the next 3 months, it's going to be very interesting as we follow Larry traipsing around. What's the name of the town again?
Gustavus.
That's the island,
Alaska. Yeah, well, it's the town itself. Yeah, the island is, I can't remember the name of the island, but I think it doesn't matter. If you type in Gustavus, Alaska, you'll find it. There's only one.
They kind of just drop you off there and good luck.
More or less. Yeah. Well, it is what it is. Hey, they have regular flights in there as long as you paddle or you flap hard. No, actually.
Yeah.
Actually,
wow.
Alaska Air does start daily service with one flight, after Memorial Day, and it ends on September 1st, I think.
Yeah.
So,
boy,
all the conveniences of home.
Well, you know what? In all seriousness, that's a terrific adventure, and folks, follow Larry. I'll be very interested to co-host with what's going on for the next 3 months up in Alaska. So I'm looking forward to the pictures. Hey, I want you to take a lot of other video too, so that we can splice it into for our discussions.
Oh yeah, no, I will take lots of video, unlike when I normally say that, but I actually will take lots of video because I'll need something to do. So
yeah, well, perfect.
All right, folks. With that, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, questions at Handyman Pros Radio Show, we do have at Handyman Pros to also on YouTube as well. So with that, Johnny, take us home, baby.
All right, gang. Stay safe. Have a great week. We'll see you next time on the Handyman Pros Radio Show.